Hello, my most amazing kindergarten artists. Today we're going to be making some lines, but starting out with a piece of paper and writing our names and class code. Don't forget, we always pick up a pencil and write our name. The first thing I do is always the same. I pick up a pencil and write my name. And class code. Your class code is that secret code that lets me know what grade you're in and whose class you're in. Make sure you write that and then flip your paper over. After that, you won't need a pencil anymore. We will be using something called oil pastels. Now, oil pastels are super special because they look like a crayon, but they work like paint. That means they're also just as messy as paint, so today you want to make sure to be using them very carefully so that you get to use all of the colors and have fun today in art class. When we're using oil pastels, we hold them like we would hold a pencil. You can pick any color you want, but I would recommend doing any of the colors of the rainbow. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, or maybe even pink. I would stay away from the black and brown, but you are welcome to use them if you so insist. You are the artiste. I'm going to start out by making the lines that Larry the Line taught us. So I'm going to start out by making a vertical line. That's one that goes straight up and down. Then I'm going to draw a whoop, diagonal line. Every time I draw a line, I'm switching my color, and then I draw a horizontal line. That's the one that goes across the page. I'm switching my color every time I make a line. I decided I wanted to make a loop-de-loop or a curly line. Then I switched to a zigzag line. Whatever lines you know how to make, you're going to be making them on your page today. Now notice, I didn't make them all in a straight line or a pattern. I'm putting these lines all over the paper. You can put your line anywhere you want as long as it goes from one section to another, meaning I put it starting at one line and it stops when it gets to the other line. This is creating different sections in my paper. I'm also making sure I switch color of oil pastel every time I switch my line. I can make a dotted line, a dashed line, a wavy line, a swirly line, any kind of line I want. When I'm working with oil pastels, sometimes they do break. They are very soft. It's okay if the wrapper comes off. The wrapper is just there to help protect your fingers. If your fingers get a little dirty today, it's okay. Just make sure to keep them away from your face as well as your clothes today. We will use art wipes to clean our hands when we're done. But while you're working, just keep your hands on the table, on your utensils, the oil pastels, and your paper today. You want to make sure that you're not pressing too hard with the oil pastel, because if you press too hard, that oil pastel might break. Now you might notice that there's some little tiny oil pastels. Those are ones that have already broken, and it's okay. They still work just fine. You can use any colors, shapes, or sizes of oil pastels you find in your bin today. Just make sure you're using a variety of colors, meaning a lot of different ones, and a lot of different lines, not just making that same line over and over again. Today is all about practicing all the different kinds of lines we learned. So maybe I'll go back and make another vertical, maybe I'll make a horizontal, another diagonal, whatever I remember and learned today, another loop-de-loop. You can even invent your own kind of line or a pattern. Now, if you fill up your paper with lots of lines but still leaving some white space in between and you think that you are finished, we can use art wipes to clean our hands. We don't use the sink every day in art class because there's a lot of us and only one sink. So what we can do is use the wipes in your bag. They are called art wipes because all you need is one to magically wipe your hands clean. Now, if you do happen to need two, that's okay because these oil pastels are very messy. But just make sure you're using them to get all that oil pastel off before you leave your table or before you touch your clothes. You wouldn't want to get oil pastel on your clothes today because oil pastel does stain. That means it's very hard to wash out. That's why these wipes really help to get it off by scrubbing and rubbing. When you're finished using a wipe, never put it back in the bag. You want to make sure to zip it up so that they stay wet for the next person to use them. Any used wipes you have, you can use again to wipe off your table to get any oil pastel that might have gotten on there just wiped off. After you're done with your art wipes, you don't want to put them back in your table bin. You want to make sure that your name's on the back of your paper, and then when you get up, you can put your art wipes in the trash can. I have 2 big trash cans in my room that you could put them in. I'm going to be putting my paper in my table folder. That's the color folder on your table of your table team. That's where artwork that's dry always goes. That's also where you can find your sketchbook to work in if you finish. All right, artists, have fun today.